Hello, all. Welcome to the third session of Introduction to Intellectual Property Rights. In our last session, we had gone through certain important intellectual property rights like copyright, patent, related rights, industrial designs, and trademarks. In our today's session, we will go through other categories of intellectual property rights, though they may not seem to be very commercially exploited, but they do carry a lot of importance from the society point of view. They are generally known as societal IPRs for obvious reasons that they consist of certain IPRs like geographical indications or trade secrets. Another category is that of biodiversity related IPRs. And the last one, but definitely not the least, is your semiconductor integrated circuit layout designs, which is a popular IPR amongst the industrial sector. The first type of IPR which we will study today is geographical indication. The name itself suggests that these are the IPR related products or services which are used on a particular product which have got a specific geographical origin and possess qualities or a reputation that are due to that origin. To elaborate my point more, I will give you certain examples of this IPR so that you will understand this topic more. The popular or the first geographical indication which was filed in India after the Geographical Indication Registration Act, that is your Geographical Indications of Goods Registration and Protection Act 1999, was Darjeeling tea. As it is very common that the tea which is grown or cultivated in Darjeeling carries certain significant smell, taste on your taste buds, which you will not find it in any other tea which is produced or cultivated throughout the country or throughout the world. For a simple reason, the Darjeeling, which is situated in West Bengal, has got a peculiar weather, soil conditions. The people who have been growing tea there for generations altogether know the knack or know the skill of growing or cultivating tea, and that is why Darjeeling tea has got extra importance throughout the world. That is the first geographical indication which is registered in India. Other examples are, for example, Chanderi saris. We all know that Chanderi, which is a place near in Madhya Pradesh, it has got specific woven saris, the Chanderi silk as it is commonly known. Other examples are the Solapuri chadar, as we all know it in Maharashtra. The weaving or the textile which is used in Solapuri chadars have got a worldwide significance. The names itself signify the place from where they originate, or Mysore silk, as it is commonly known that the silk is so thin and so fine that the entire silk sari can be grown, or the entire silk sari can be put through a small finger ring which we put in our finger. So that is the fineness of that Mysore silk. Then the other examples are, for example, let's say Kurg oranges. Kurg, which is a hill station in Karnataka, the oranges which are grown in Kurg have got certain significance. Like we have got Nagpur oranges, or other examples are that of the Malabar pepper, or that of maybe Bastar Dokra. The are handicrafts which are also very famous. For example, Indori leather toys are very famous worldwide because of the artisans which are there in Indore. The leather which is produced in Indore has got certain significance. Common other is your blue pottery of Jaipur, as we all know it, Jaipur, which is in Rajasthan. The pottery, the blue color pottery, which is very famous in Jaipur, nobody else can make it. Only the people in Jaipur can make it because of the soil which is used to create that pottery, the color, blue color, which is very significantly found there. Or you have got Kutch embroidery, the black and white Kutch embroidery, which is very famous. Another handicraft example can be the Pashmina shawls, which are also sold in from Kashmir because of the Pashmina wool which is produced there from the sheep which stays there, or which is herd in Kashmir. So these are certain examples of the registered GI which you will understand has got certain significance not only in India but throughout the world. For example, champagne, which is a registered GI from France. Champagne, as we all know it, is an alcoholic drink which has got its significance or its name originates from the village Champagne, which is in France. So it is not only from India but throughout the world as well. If there is something which is identical or which is associated with that region, it should be protected for two important reasons. One is that the rights of the people who go on cultivating that products or manufacturing that products, be it handlooms or producers or anything, they should get certain security or they should be given certain monetary benefits of their skill, of their hard work, or of their traditional knowledge which they have been carrying on from generations altogether. And other important aim of GI Act is that the consumers who are trying to purchase certain goods which have got its peculiarity associated with a region, they are paying that much amount of money to get that out of the region. They should not be defrauded. For example, let's say if I am growing oranges here in let's say Pune or in Satara, but I am selling it as Nagpuri oranges which have been grown here in Pune or Satara, and I am selling it at 10 rupees less than what actual original Nagpuri oranges are sold. Obviously the consumer will be ready to pay 10 rupees less to get something which is a Nagpur oranges. In this way I am trying to defraud the customers, but at the same time if those oranges do not turn out to be very good in taste, not only that the money will be wasted of the consumer, but the name of Nagpur oranges will also get spoiled. So to protect the goodwill of that particular region or the products which are grown in that region, the Geographical Indications of Good Registration and Protection Act was brought into effect in 1999 as a compliance to the TRIPS agreement, which we had already looked into. The GIs are typically used for various categories in India. Under the 1999 Act, we have got around 34 classes of goods under which you can register your GI. The protection which is granted to GI is for the first period of 10 years, after which you can renew it for further 10 years and then goes on and on and on for 10 years altogether. Under the 1999 Act, we have a GI registry which is located in Chennai, and they have a website under the ipindia.gov.in, under which whichever GIs are registered in India, how can an authorized user go ahead and use the GI tag. The entire information is available on that website, and if a person wants to register certain products as a GI, the entire procedure for registration is also available on the website. So the GI journal is a document which is published by the GI registry, in which the added GIs, that means the new GIs registered, is published after every quarters. So the GI Act goes on providing information about the registry, the journal, and how it has to be maintained. This is one of the most popular IPRs when we talk about the actual products or handicrafts or producers or products, agricultural, non-agricultural products or textiles, which carry certain significance due to the locality or region or the weather conditions or the atmospheric conditions. The next type of popular GI, which is though not protected under any specific law in India, but can be protected or can be dealt with under various laws in India, is trade secrets. This word itself suggests that it is a secret which is maintained by that particular organization with respect to its trade. Common example being that of Coca-Cola. The ingredients of the Coca-Cola drink are trade secrets. That means it is not published anywhere in the entire world. Hardly 5 to 6 people know about the ingredients of Coca-Cola, the exact measurements of, be it the sugar or be it the maybe the drink which is made up of the color or the essence of how much carbon dioxide should go in, how much the carbs should go in. So this entire recipe of Coca-Cola drink is a trade secret. Some organizations might want to preserve their secrets and not publish it anywhere, but other organizations might be open with respect to their processes or products, and thereby they may want to protect it under copyright law or patent law or trademark law or any other sort of IPR rules. But certain organizations would like to maintain their trade related aspects, be it the formulas or practices or processes, be it the designs or certain instruments or patterns or compilation of information which has got certain economic value in the market, and if it is leaked in the market, the competitors will barge upon it and make the entire profit out of that trade secret, and that is why certain things are maintained as trade secrets. Now this information can include everything and anything which is associated with that business or associated with that trade, and it makes that entire trade a successful business. Now in India, like I said, we don't have a dedicated legislation protecting trade secrets, but the courts have been considering the provisions under various statutes. For example, under the contract law, let's say if I am a Coca-Cola manufacturer and I want to set up a plant in, let's say, Bangalore for production and manufacturing of Coca-Cola drink, definitely every time from Satara or from Pune I cannot travel to Bangalore to make the recipe of the Coca-Cola drink. So what I do is that I sign a contract with the producer in Bangalore whom I have licensed the Coca-Cola manufacturing related plant. I sign a confidentiality agreement with them saying that we are sharing these details with you with respect to Coca-Cola drink. However, these details should be maintained as strictly confidential information, and it should not be shared with anybody whatsoever. And if it is shared with anyone or if it is leaked, then it will be considered to be a breach of contract, and under the contract law, that is maybe the Indian Contract Act, it will be considered to be a breach of contract, and accordingly the legal remedies will be sought. Or you have got the copyright law, wherein if I have mentioned a formula on a piece of paper, I want to maintain it as a trade secret, I keep that formula only and only with me, that paper only and only with me. If somebody comes in my house and in my absence opens the locker, takes the page and runs away, it will be considered to be infringement of copyright. Again, the principles of equity and natural justice are ones which the courts have been upholding every now and then. Breach of confidence is again important point under the common law, wherein the contractual obligations if are breached or the moral obligations if are breached, then the courts will grant damages, that means monetary compensation to the person whose trade secrets have been misutilized. Another important aspect when you talk about information technology or IT related trade secrets are section 72 of the Information Technology Act 2000 goes on protecting certain information or goes on protecting certain electronic records as confidential information. So in case the electronic records are stolen from somebody's computer, or the electronic records are downloaded from somebody's computer on a pen drive, or they are taken a printout of, or it is copy pasted in somebody's pen drive, that means you are stealing the information from a person, then section 2072 applies to you and you are misutilizing the trade secrets of that organization. So trade secrets is another intellectual property. It is not very much in focus because as the name suggests, it is not in the public domain. That means nobody knows about it much. So protection cannot be granted much to them as it is not published in the public domain. For example, under patents, you can grant a protection to a machinery or to an instrument because everybody knows about it, and if somebody misutilizes it or infringes it, you can take an action. But if I don't know the exact recipe of Coca-Cola, how can I misutilize it? And that is the logic of protecting certain business related information as trade secret. Another important IPR, which is though not a very new IPR, but it has been a process, or it has been an attempt at international level to protect this sort of IPR under the legislations, and that is your biological diversity, commonly known as biodiversity. In India, in the year 2002, we have enacted a law known as the Biological Diversity Act to comply with our obligations under the CBD, that is Convention on Biological Diversity, to which India is a signatory. Under the 2002 legislation, there have been provisions to protect the biological diversity in India and provide certain provisions with respect to use of that biological diversity. Now, what is exactly biological diversity? It is everything and anything which has got life on earth, right from living organisms to plants to trees to let's say any particular species of living organisms, natural habitats which has got life, and the use of that life is made for some development or for some research. It is a backbone of sustainable development, which includes plant varieties, genetically modified organisms, or monoculture, or anything which is related to biodiversity will be considered under this act. To give you a small example, in India, Ayurveda is something which has been going on for generations altogether, and that is why we in India more know the benefits of and advantages of protecting the plants and trees. To give you a small example, तुळशीचं जे झाड आपण लावतो घरासमोर, why is it there? It is not just because it is put up in क्योंकि सास भी कभी बहू थी serial as a front door miniature. It is put, we plant the tulsi plant for a simple reason: it releases oxygen. It is having a medicinal property that when the wind flows, because of the properties in tulsi plant, a person when inhales it, he gets some medicinal properties out of it. Likewise, we have got many plants in India which come under the Biological Diversity Act. The intention of enacting this legislation was to provide protection to these biological diversity, meaning nobody can misuse this biological diversity for exploitation purposes. However, for the betterment of the society, for the betterment of the humanity, this act has provided two important concepts. One is known as access benefit sharing, commonly known as ABS. It means that if any person, be it from India or outside India, wants to access the biological diversity in India, use that biological diversity maybe for commercial purpose or for any research and development purpose or for any educational purpose, they need to obtain a prior permission of the National Biodiversity Authority. They need to sign an agreement, that is MAT, known as Mutually Agreed Terms Agreement, with the National Biodiversity Authority, in which they have to mention all the details as to why are they using this particular genetic resource, why are they using our biodiversity, and what all things they are going to do out of it, how the profit will be shared, how the biodiversity will be accessed, what will be the result of it, are they going to file for any IPR after researching, or are they going to use it for indigenous people or for traditional knowledge. The intention of Biodiversity Act is to make sure that our diversity is protected, but at the same time it is utilized for the human beings' betterment. Then again, the concept of biotechnology is introduced in this act, wherein what role biotechnology plays in protecting biodiversity is also explored. So this being one of the IPR, though may not be a very commercial IPR, but yes, there have been cases or there have been instances by business organizations who have utilized the biological diversity in India and have gained access to money, to humanity betterment, as well as access to fame in the entire world. The next type of IPR which we are going to study in detail in our consequent sessions is semiconductor integrated circuits layout designs. Now this is a bit technical subject, wherein if any product is having any transistors or any circuitry elements which are inseparable from the semiconductor material or the insulating material or inside the semiconductor material, and it is designed to perform an electronic circuitry function, it can be registered under the Semiconductor Integrated Circuits Layout Design Act 2000. Now the protection which is granted to the layout designs is for a period of 10 years from the date of filing of application and or from the date of first commercial exploitation anywhere in any country, whichever is earlier. So the layout designs of transistors, they constitute an important and unique form of intellectual property, because when you talk about anything and everything starting from a minutest computer chip to building blocks or anything, any block which is patentable under the Patent Act, wherever you have mechanics involved, whenever you have electronics involved, instruments which run on the circuits, everything has got a mechanism of semiconductor integrated circuits. And the layout designs which go on providing information with respect to the functioning of semiconductor integrated circuits, these designs can be protected under the 2000 Act. So in our consequent sessions we are going to study this act more in detail to understand the nitty-gritties involved in it. So till now we have gone through the important IPRs of patent, copyright, trademark and industrial design, and today we looked at other kinds of intellectual property rights, which are the geographical indications, trade secrets, biodiversity and semiconductor integrated circuit layout designs. So these are the most common intellectual property rights not only in India but throughout the world, and like we discussed, the international forum has been striving hard to protect these intellectual property rights not only in a particular country but how international cooperation can be brought into picture to protect IPRs from various countries. And that is why in our consequent lectures, when we are going to study mostly each of these IPR in detail, we will be discussing what are the rights which a holder gets, how is that particular or that subsequent IPR dealt under the legislation, how can it be commercially exploited, how what will be the remedy in case that IPR is infringed. Thank you so much.